All right, we are live, Amber. Hi, everyone. I'm Dawn Loading. I'm a real estate agent with eXp Realty. First, well, not first, actually, I'm a mom, wife, and friend first, and then a real estate agent, among other things that I do. So, one of my passions is really helping other people through troubled times and trying to give them the help that they need to find their way faster than what it took me. So this year I took on this journey of really trying to help people build wealth and do the right thing with their money. And I am doing this myself, working on my estate, working on making sure my credit is great. I want to start doing real estate investing this year. All of these ducks have to be in a row and order for you to be successful with this. But I will be the first to admit I am the worst at finances because I just have no interest. I just want to make money and move on and not keep track of it. Just have somebody else do that. So, that doesn't work. Like if you want your money to take care of you, you have to take care of your money. And so I got with my friend Amber here, who is with the credit people, by the way, or the credit couple. And we became friends last year and we're really just kind of on the same journey. So she is one of my weekly guests, monthly guests here on this stream. Um, I don't know what to call this. It's like a stream, it's a podcast, it's a video. Who knows? It's a series. It is a money management, financial freedom series that I'm doing through October. So, anyway, Amber, thank you so much. I just love you, and I love that your passion is really trying to help others as well. So, today we're really going to talk about budgeting and where is my money going. So tell us a little bit about yourself first, though. Now they know I'm a real estate agent. So tell us about you.
Thank you, John. My name is Amber Woodard. I am one half of the credit couple. We were former teachers who kind of accidentally fell into a credit repair business. Fell in love and took it from there. We really have a big basis on education. We love, just like you, to help people. We do that through credit repair. We're now doing taxes. We'll be working on student loans in the near future and actually business credit. But our main goal is to help people get their lives financially right and get them the tools they need and the information they need, the knowledge they need to move forward in the future.
Awesome. Perfect. So today our subject is budgeting. So we're going to talk to you about that. What does that look like? Last month, and if you missed that video, I'm actually going to put the link to that video in the notes for this week so that you could go back and watch that. But last month we talked about setting your financial goals and what do those look like? And that really depends on what you want your life to look like. And so now we're going to talk about budgeting and creating that pathway for your money to go where you want it to go so that you know what's going on and you're not just like, oh my gosh, like I don't know, I say that all the time. I don't know. I don't want to say that anymore. So I'm glad if you're watching this, you're on this journey with me. And so Amber, go ahead. Where is my money going? What have you got to say about that?
Well, I feel like, especially before when I was a teacher, when I've been in other professions in my past life before my job was to really know what was going on with my money. And honestly, sometimes now I can look at my income and then think about my bills and then think about the end of the month and I'm like, wait a minute, something's not adding up here. I should have a million, not $1 million, but I should have some money sitting in the bank that obviously is not there. And I think for all of us, we think we know where our money is going. We know that we pay our rent or our mortgage. We know we make our car payment, our insurance payment. We know that we're spending way too much money on groceries.
Eating
But
out.
yes, eating out, that's the bane of my existence. But we don't really know at the end of the month where our money is going. And I'll tell you, I'll probably explain later today. At one point when I was just broke and I couldn't figure it out, I found the most, I don't want to say ignorant, but the most ridiculous place that my money was going. And it never even crossed my mind. So, and we'll get to that later on. But for now, you know, where is your money going? How much money do you have coming in? Do you have, do you just get paid once a month or maybe biweekly and that's your only income? Or do you have child support coming in? Do you have some other streams of income where you have some money coming in? We get paid from Instagram, we get paid from TikTok, we get paid from Facebook. And sometimes I don't even think about that income because it just appears in your bank account. You don't really think about it. So, where is all of your income is kind of a big thing. And then to figure out exactly where your money is going. And I think last time we told everyone for homework was to get out a bank statement and just write down for 1 month or 1 week, and 1 month would be best, what all you spent. So we're going to kind of dive into today where your money is going and how we can make it go where you want it to go.
I love that. I want it to go in my bank account.
That's right. That's definitely where I want it to go, not into Schlotsky's bank account.
Yeah, right. All you're doing when you spend all that useless money. And, we're really not so bad about that anymore. HEB gets most of our money, but we're lucky to go to dinner like once every 2 or 3 weeks. My husband eats out every day for lunch because he works in the city, but I eat at home like all the time. But I see my kids do this and it just makes me sick how much money they spend on eating out. And so guess who's getting this video?
Yeah, my oldest may need that too. I think with the young people, I don't want to go spend $150 on groceries to buy all the basics and everything that I need. So I'm just going to keep eating out, so, but there are some things that we can do, and really knowing where your money is going again is going to help us get there.
Yeah.
So next thing is accounting for all income and expenses. Like I said, you have to know where all of your sources of income are. I wouldn't include your gambling winnings or even your lottery ticket winnings or anything like that. But if you have a side hustle, if you have your normal income, if you have your spouse's income, if you have anything that's producing you kind of passive income, it is important to get all of that money written down. Write it down somewhere. Get your total so that you know what your income is per month. Now, I always tell people, if you get a bonus every month and it varies, go with the minimum. If your bonus is between $1,000 and $1,500 a month, for budgeting purposes, let's go with $1,000. You never want to say, well, I get $1,500 a month, and then you budget for that, and some months you don't get that bonus. But make sure you're accounting for all your income. And then what we did for homework last time is writing down all of your expenses and thinking of all of them.
Well, and I want to add to that. So accounting for the income and expenses, one of the things that you got to remember is a budget is a living document. It changes every single month. So for me, I do just an Excel spreadsheet and I write down every bill that I know every month I have to pay. And that's on one spreadsheet. And I love Excel, or I use Google Docs, or Google spreadsheets, but you could use whatever works for you. Whatever you're going to use that. But you can adjust that. So, I keep my debt all on a different spreadsheet, and so in order of what I want to pay off first. And so I was a big Dave Ramsey person back in the day. And so used to actually teach his classes, but so I kind of learned that whole system, and it works, but not so much if you're self-employed. So there's so many different things that you could use. There's apps, there's QuickBooks, there's just a ton of different things. There is no right or wrong way to track all of this. It's just finding something that works for you. Free is always better because then you don't have to do one more. And it depends on, are you self-employed? Are you a real estate agent? What are you? So, but yeah, accounting for all the income and expenses is huge, and you need to keep track of it.
And I think you're right when you said, however is best for you. I'm a list person. I'm a notebook, pen, and paper girl. I figure most people that are between the ages of 20 and 30 think I'm crazy. They're like, what, you write on paper? And they would prefer an app or something like that. Spreadsheets, I think, are great for everyone. I have my list, my piece of paper. I also have my spreadsheets. My notebook is something that I can go in and say, okay, paid that, paid that, paid that. Let's scratch these off my list. These are my goals. This is what I plan to do. But I think that making your way of recording your income and expenses work for you. If it's something you're not going to keep up with, then it's not worth it.
Yeah. And what I and this is so easy because I've done it too. It's so easy to just open your bank account on your phone and look at how much money you have and not ever track that. Back in the day we used to, and I know that people still do. I do it through QuickBooks and through my CPA, but balancing that checkbook, like I don't even know if they teach that anymore, but it's done differently these days than I just remember my mom or my grandma sitting there at the table with their checkbook and checking all of those off every month. I don't know of a whole lot of people that do it that way anymore. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't either. I mean, I was at my friend's house the other day and she was writing out a check and I was like, you own checks?
I know, me too. I don't even have any.
You have checks? And so I don't think a lot of us do it that way. And I think the reason we balance our checkbook is because you never knew when a check was going to go through. You may have sent that check off 3 months ago and it's going to go through next week because now everything's so automatic that we don't have to do it that way.
But the problem with that and not seeing what's coming through is that for me, like I'm a real estate agent, I have a lot of expenses and automated withdrawals that I literally had to close out my account last year just to stop it all because I didn't even know what I had coming out. I was wasting so much money. And I knew this was my journey this year. So I literally probably eliminated $1,000 worth of stuff that I just didn't even need anymore. And so do you know what every one of those charges? And if you miss a day and you don't see what came out, like how are you keeping track of that?
I think that is so important. And, I even find myself sometimes I had a subscription recently that I know I canceled 2 months ago and it came through my account again. And that is because I make sure that I go through and I just go through like at least once or twice a week. I just scroll through and look at my last week of transactions on all of my accounts. It doesn't take me 10 minutes to just go through each account and make sure that I either recognize what it was, because occasionally you'll see something that you don't recognize and that's a problem, or B, to see that everything on there is something you still need, to see if you need to make any cancellations, because I know I get crazy with the subscriptions sometimes.
We all do.
And then I'm like, do I even use that? Is that something that's even being, I see Apple taking out $2.99, $4.99, $3.99, and I'm like, what do I even own? Like, what am I doing? So I think that going back and just keeping a record of that is important. And having that spreadsheet, now you know what you know in your head is coming out. When you see something different, it's going to trigger. Hey, that's not in my bills.
Right. All right, let's go on now to those expenses and tracking those expenses and talk about your needs versus your wants. That's huge.
So, yes. So what you need to do is we didn't really go into categorizing too much.
I skipped right over that. Sorry. Let's do that.
So first we need to categorize our expenses. And this is highly personal. And this is where I'll kind of get into what I was doing when I figured out where all of my money was going at one point in my life. You have categories. It could be home, auto, travel, clothing, kids, insurance. I mean, there are tons of categories that may or may not relate to you, but you need to put everything into a category. When I was going through my budget one time, I had, utilities and house, and I had vehicle, and then I kept having, and fast food versus groceries. So I had to separate my groceries and my fast food. I couldn't put it all under food because I needed to know what's coming from the grocery store and what's not. But another one that kept coming up when I was going through my month of statements was gas station. And it wasn't gas. We were traveling all the time and we would literally go in the gas station. We've got 2 kids. We buy 4 sodas or energy drinks or whatever. Everybody gets a bag of chips or a box of candy. And it was a literal every single day, almost $20 or more if we were traveling all day of us going into the Quick Trip and spending our money. And when I looked at it, I don't remember the amount, but I looked at the amount and I thought, if I went to the store and I bought snacks for us for every day, even junk food snacks, just car snacks and drinks, how much money would that cost me? And it was a tenth.
Yeah.
And that was where my money was literally going. I was throwing my money out at the gas station on Funyuns and Snicker bars and Red Bulls.
Well, I did that with Starbucks. Like I literally had, there's been 2 times in my life where I got completely addicted to that afternoon coffee. And I literally had to just stop and be like, okay, this adds up so fast.
Mhm.
It's unreal. So I'm lucky if I even have a coffee once a month these days. Well, I have coffee at home like every day and it is Starbucks, but it's my own Starbucks. And for that $20 that I spend on those carrot cups, like for a whole month, I spent in 2 days, 3 days on
Mhm.
going to the coffee shop. It's just ridiculous. And you know what is so funny is those places are always packed. I
Yep.
cannot get over how many people spend so much money on that. And so,
And it's not for an experience. It's not to go in and
no,
spend
it's a
time there.
habit.
It's in the drive-through. It's a habit.
It's a habit and it's a want. It's definitely not a need. I mean, we may need
Oh yeah, you need your coffee.
yeah, I mean, I do need my coffee, but I want to go through the drive-through versus drive home and make one. But
Well, even my 6-year-old and 11-year-old had a Starbucks thing. Their mama always gets them Starbucks gift cards for every holiday. And so Juwan and I were brilliant. We found this coffee maker that does blending, so I can do frappes. It does
me
iced
too.
coffee and hot coffee. I think it costs $200. And that's a lot for a cheap appliance, right? But
You
that
save money.
$200, now my kids have frappes, they have iced coffee, they have and I can make it caffeine free and know that it's caffeine free.
Yay.
And so that helps too. And you're right, just spending that money. And when you look at it, and that's kind of once like what your categories are. And like I said, those are very personal and they're living as well. They could change. We no longer travel so much, so gas station doesn't have to go on my list anymore.
Yeah.
So that can change. But now you need to look at your needs versus your wants. Do you need coffee? Yes. But is a want to go to Starbucks? Definitely a want. Going out to eat, need or want. The subscription services, walk through each of your subscriptions. Do I need this or do I want this? I think at one point we had like 6 different streaming television whatevers. We watched TV 2 hours a month, maybe. What were we doing? We saw one series we wanted to watch. We're like, oh, let's get Hulu. And then we saw, then Juwan wanted a football game, so let's get Sling, and then by the time you're done, you have all of these things and it's costing you a ton of money. So walking through each of your subscriptions and figuring out your needs versus wants. You cannot get rid of your electric bill. Not even if you get solar, it's still there. Yeah. But you can get rid of some of the things that you are doing. So really going through and marking your needs and wants. Now, some wants you shouldn't give up.
Yeah, like a massage.
Yeah. Date night.
Date night. Yeah.
But
right. I agree.
There are points in your life where right now Juwan and I are working towards some goals. I want to cut out everything. Well, almost everything. So getting my nails done may not happen for a while. It's a want. I don't really have to have it, but I'm still taking my kids to go do something fun at least once or twice a month because they're my kids and I want to do it. And it's a want, but I'm not cutting that out of my life. But depending on your current goals, maybe sometimes some of your wants, you add your wants back in and sometimes you cut some of those wants out. I think that it's very fluid. It's just going to depend on your goals. But if you're sitting around with $20,000 in credit card debt, it would probably be a good idea to take out a lot of those wants, which is what we're going to talk about next time in
Next
order to
month.
get that down and make yourself some more money.
Yeah.
Oh, what now? So that's kind
Yeah.
of what we're pushing into. This is the fun part, changing habits. Nobody
Make
likes
some cuts.
changing your habits. We had to stop going in at the gas station. In
Mm-hmm.
fact, it's still a joke in my house that every time we pull up to a gas station, my 6-year-old says, I have to go to the bathroom. And why? Because he wants to go in and get a candy bar.
Oh, yep.
He wants to go get that soda. And we've gotten really good about we try to take like some snacks with us, you know, when we think about it. And then I have a stash in the car in case we didn't think about it before we left. So we really had to change that habit from I'm not going to go into the gas station. When I go get gas, I'm going to pay for my gas and I'm going to leave. And changing habits is hard and it's not fun.
No. But you know what? So I work a lot on this. I lost weight last year. I lost almost 30 pounds in 1 year, and it was amazing. And I had to change a lot of habits. So I learned a lot about those habits. And then that's kind of what led me into this year, really taking control of my financial freedom. And so really, I think one of the biggest things that helped me is really keeping the goal in mind. So we talked about setting goals, and I use a vision board. Like, I love vision boarding and putting my goals up there. I literally have my friend Rebecca, we just did a call about this last week. So that's actually in the series too, about doing a vision board on Canva. But if you could, it helps you to not do the things that you told yourself you weren't going to do earlier in the day, when you could actually pull up your vision and see it. And then you're like, okay, wait, I'm not going to have that cocktail, or I'm not going to have that dessert. That totally demolishes my goal of where I want to be in 6 months. And so that really helped me a lot. So habits, that's a subject we could make a whole video on changing habits, but it's something that it's like the first step, because all of these things, these habits are what we do. It's what we do. Like, we have habits. And
Yeah.
so, yeah.
And it's a habit for a reason. It's a habit because you've done it more than 17 times. So it's definitely, I mean, for me, on a lot of them, we've talked about a million times, my big thing was going out to eat. I'd like to say we're not fast paced because I started a business so that I could be at home. That's not how it works, especially when you have kids. But we were going out to eat so much. And with a family of 4, I mean, any drive-through is going to cost you $40, $50.
Yeah.
Just,
Oh, yeah.
that's
Easy.
And when I looked at it like this, $40, $50. If we didn't go out to eat, if we cut out 4 times a week, that is a nice sit-down restaurant meal. So if we can go 2 weeks with no going out to eat, we could treat ourselves at a steakhouse.
And not to mention, it's much more healthy, because
Mhm.
eating out is not healthy. It's not good for you.
It doesn't taste good.
No.
But if you can take the kids for an experience and a good meal and
Yeah.
a date night and leave the kids somewhere else and go out to eat, then I mean, it's no question. That's a great trade-off.
Yeah.
And so for me, on some of the ones that were harder to break, it was, I don't want to say rewarding myself, but giving myself a trade. We're going to stop this, but if we can do this,
I like that a
we'll
lot.
free up
Yeah.
the money to do that.
And you have to be realistic too. Like, and that was the thing with me losing the weight and changing those habits. I have tried every diet for the past 20 years and not been able to lose a pound. But this one, I was able to do it. It was realistic for my lifestyle. So really, you have to evaluate, like, is it realistic that you're not going to eat out when you work 2 hours away from home and that's your only choice? Are you going to buy groceries so that you can make your lunch and take it to work? Like, you have to figure out what's going to fit into your lifestyle also.
Right. And I think that when you're changing habits, that you do have to be realistic
Exactly.
and not be hard on yourself.
Right. Yeah. Well, and then we go into the whole living in scarcity versus living in abundance. And this is something that was huge for me last year. Over the last year, was I was all about, oh, I'm going to live in abundance and I'm going to do this and I'm not going to worry about being in scarcity. But then I realized, wait a minute, there is something to this. Like, living in abundance means I take care of my stuff, not that I just have it to blow and go blow it. Scarcity means you're scared, like you're living in survival mode and your brain is like fight or flight, and it's all a mindset thing.
Yep.
All of it is, really, our whole life is. But yeah, so
You've heard of poverty mindset.
yes.
I still have it.
Yeah. Oh, I do. We do. I mean,
A woman who knows better, but because of habits and my entire life, I have to fight my poverty mindset.
Comfort levels. I mean,
Yeah.
we go back to comfort. It's so much easier to go where you're comfortable instead of
Mhm.
breaking free from that and going toward the next one. But the thing is, you said 17 times. Once you do something 17 times or 20 or whatever it ends up taking you, it's now a new habit. It's only uncomfortable for a moment while you're trying to break that habit.
Right, right. And like I said, we're pretty good about not going to the gas station now, and this has been a few years, and now it's funny, and occasionally, you know what we do? We go in the gas station and get some sodas and we get some drinks,
Yeah, but it's all
but
about,
that's not going to push us right back into going every
yeah,
24 hours. So
it's
so
about
it's moderation.
moderation. Yes, thank you. Okay, so let's talk about, well, we talked really about all of that. So we're really going to get into this reallocating money a little bit more next month when we start talking about paying off debt. So right now we just need to get the budget going, and then when we're talking about paying off debt, we'll talk a little bit more. Right now we're just about making cuts, changing habits, making cuts, and then you know it takes a while. This is why I wanted to give this whole program 10 months. Like, I have goals from last month that I still haven't even done, and now I got to implement another one. So it's all about baby steps. This is a process. So yeah, next month, this one's big. We're going to talk about what to pay off first, what affects your credit report. Amber knows all about all of this, so she's going to really help us out next month so we know how to get ahead and how to do that.
Yes, and as far as, I guess you would say, homework for this month, I guess there would be two things. Number one, you've got those needs versus wants. Now look through your wants and see which ones you could give up to get yourself financially in a better place. Like I said, don't cut all the fun out of your life. Don't cut the fun out of your children's life. But what things could you do without, either forever or just temporarily, to get yourself in a financially better situation? And then I would say for the rest of this month until we meet again, spend consciously. Because now it's going to be in your head. So when you're at the gas station and you're buying your Red Bull and your king size Snickers bar, think about this podcast and think, is this a need or a want? What could I trade for this?
Become aware.
Yes. So it's more about making some conscious decisions this month and to really start looking at what can be cut out, because next month, I think we're going to go more into using that money that you're cutting out of your budget right now to pay off your debt and open up a lot more money for you.
I love that. I want to be there. Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Amber. As always, I love having these talks with you. I just get so inspired and want to go do better. And so I'll do better. And next month we'll talk again. So thank you so much. And I will put Amber's website in the YouTube video once we get that uploaded. It goes out on my newsletter on Friday, and it's on my YouTube channel by tomorrow. So if you missed this or you're just catching the end, it's also live on the Facebook social or on socials. So thank you so much, and we will just see you all next month, next week
Thank
for
you.
Fred. Next Wednesday, we have Fred coming in again to talk about estate planning when you own a home and why that's so important. So we will see you next week and next month with Amber. Thank you.
Thank you.